right, here we are, episode 1. Jam, thanks for joining.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So I guess the whole premise behind us doing this is we're both entrepreneurs. You more so than me, but I'm starting my journey, the entrepreneurial journey, and I suppose we're both kind of looking for the secrets to building a successful business, a successful life, and so we kind of just wanted to delve a bit more deep into some stories from founders, just people that we meet, great people, and really delve into their story and understand what it is the secret sauce that makes them successful.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a quest to find what are the secret ingredients behind these successful people. And again, what's the success mean? Definition of success to me is probably different to you, Dylan. So and so part of the journey we need to kind of look for what's the definition of success and how these guys achieve that success. So I guess we should do a little bit of introduction to us. This is a kind of a father-son podcast. The world of podcasts, trend. Everyone's doing podcasts. We thought, why not? Let's do it together. And thank you for having me, Dylan. It's um, talking about success. People define success in a different way, but to me, I feel I'm very successful having you inviting me to this session, the relationship that we have. To me, I define success. I mean, I'm pretty okay with what I've achieved over the years, but my biggest success I consider having an amazing family behind me who support me all the way. Doesn't matter what I do, believing in me and providing that support and the relationship that we build. It's I think that's my success. So I want to share in this podcast, and and we're happy to talk about in details.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like the ongoing plan is, we'll be reading books and analyzing their stories, and then hopefully in the more longer term, bringing people on and getting some interviews with people, and yeah, going deep and understanding not just like why they're successful and what they've done, but really going back to basics, back to first principles, and understanding how they got there and the principles that got them there, so that we can go away and implement them in our own lives.
Yeah, I mean it's a exploration, right? Like so, we are also exploring, reading a book or listen to a podcast, or we understanding how people are doing amazing things, and we want to share that. I mean, we learn from many other people, so it's an opportunity for us to share and all those secrets that we learn over the years as well. I guess, Dylan, maybe do a little bit of an introduction to
Yeah.
us, so who we are and
Yeah,
what we do, and yeah.
for sure. Okay, I'll kick off. So, hello everyone. I'm Dylan, Jam's son, and I studied renewable energy engineering. Finished that about a year and a half ago, and then went straight into a job down in the Snowy Mountains, and absolutely loved it. But recently got accepted into the Stanford Ignite program and just got back from that, and it was a pretty life-changing kind of course for me. Got to understand a lot more about the world of business, see the startup culture over there, and so now I've taken the leap and I'm starting my own startup called LenderCon, which is a community-based equipment rental platform. But we'll talk more about that later. So I suppose I'm still very fresh, very early in my career, but super interested in trying to combine my sustainability background and now this newfound entrepreneurship and build sustainable startups.
Awesome. So I mean, again, yeah. So you're in the early days of that entrepreneurship. Learning yourself, discovering. In a way, maybe I influence you a little bit. Because my story. I mean, I came to here many years back to Australia as an overseas student, and throughout those 34 plus years, you know. I had to survive. I had to, learn so much from many people, and then kind of a thrive over the years. And that experience is amazing. End of the day, experience make you stronger. So I became a very strong person, and again, so bit of a background to me. I very high level. We can talk about it in detail if you
Yeah.
like. So studied in business. Actually, I came here to study information technology. I studied a diploma in information technology at Newcastle University, and then after that, I worked for Western Sydney Area Health Service in the computer room. Same time I was doing as a Bachelor of Commerce degree, and then after finishing that degree, I managed to work in few other places, including Franklin's. There was a supermarket channel
Yeah.
those days. And then work for Vodafone Australia for about 7.5 years. I had the opportunity to kind of move myself from technology into more business area. So I always consider myself as more creative person, more than logical. So I thought I was in the wrong job in the technology. So there's opportunity for me to move into more business, which I really enjoyed. And in 2005, I started B Dynamic Business, and I think you're only 4 years old that time, and it was a very long journey. And then 2008, with the GFC, I had to kind of a revamp, redesign my business to survive. And so I've gone through the whole journey. Cut it short. I now have three different business. One of my business is B Dynamic Logistic business, which is growing significantly over the years. We started in 2016 to now. We have a quite significant business in Australia, and we are growing, and it's very exciting times for us. In the next few years, it's gonna significantly grow, and because we have amazing people behind that team. So there's so much experience in
Yeah.
a little. Over the years, so 18.5 years, I've been doing my own business, and also I had the privilege of studying at Harvard Business School, and with amazing people. And I'm still student, and so I'm completing my course at the end of the in October. So the learning that I'm getting, more than the course from the people, is it's awesome. Like
Yeah,
it
definitely.
can't even uh, tell you the full detail how much. I mean, how
Yeah.
often I talk about this Harvard thing, and sometimes it sounds like Harvard,
Yeah.
but it's just unbelievable. It's not just me; everybody in the whole course.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I feel like, you going to that course beforehand, you were like one man, and then coming back, I feel like all of us saw how much that course changed you. Like it opened your eyes, and then that's why you went back and did this other course. And I think that was also a big driver for me going over to Stanford, because it was like I saw the influence that had, and I kind of wanted that. I wanted to open my eyes and see a bit of a fresh perspective. And so I think that's a good driver as well. And maybe one of the keys to success is that continual learning.
absolutely, absolutely. Again, one thing I learned over the years, you got to have that open mindset. You can't have that uh, ego saying, "Hey, I know everything," right? So this is a very important thing for anybody. Doesn't matter what stage in your life. You got to have that learning mindset. You got to have that willingness to learn and opportunity. Like, you got to look at everywhere, every opportunity there's something that you can learn,
Yeah.
whether it's positive or negative. So if you have that ability to see everything is a learning exercise, and you will improve.
Yeah.
We read that book, Atomic Habits,
Yeah.
right? So it's all about improving 1% every day. So having that learning mindset, I mean, this is very first thing that we learn at Harvard, because some people are very well off, very like successful people, their own rights, and but if you don't have that learning mindset to the class, and you're shutting down
Yeah, yeah.
the your mind,
It's a missed opportunity.
yeah, you're missing the opportunity. So leave your ego aside,
Yeah.
and opening your door to learning is absolutely a ingredient for success.
Yeah. Now, I just want to take a step back and go back to your transition from IT to business,
Yeah.
because I feel like I've gone through something similar. But what was it, the like pivotal moment that you transitioned from those two pathways? Like,
Yeah.
what made you go from IT to business?
Yeah. So I guess the when you really think of it, it's not just you decided, well, I need to move from IT to business. It's actually story started way before, right?
Yeah.
So even my background, if you look at my background, I'm coming from a non-business family, right? My parents were government servant. I mean, obviously, I came from Sri Lanka, um, and my parents always taught me, you need to go to school, get a degree, do well and get a degree and get a job, and make sure you listen to your boss, and that's the only way that you can climb the ladder and be successful, right? So that's the school I came from, right?
Yeah.
But I, since I was born, I kind of a rebel in a way, in my own rights. I kind of totally disagree to that system. So, and from the young age, I start doing stuff that my parents thought really weird. And I mean, for example, we are one of the first people to have television in our area, right? So when we had the movie days, like, so I think, I can't remember exactly day, I think Tuesday night they had a movie going on TV.
Yeah.
There was a construction site next door. All the people used to come to our house to watch the TV. So the movie go for about 3 years, and in between there's a intermission, right?
Yeah.
And obviously they had some commercials, but also had intermission for going for about 15 minutes. So what I did, before the I invited all the people to come, and so I mean, this is when I was about 7 or 8, quite young.
Yeah.
I got put chairs around, and I invited them to come. There's no charge, right? But then what I did, there was a lady doing all the cooking and helping my mom to do all the cooking. I asked her to make extra, finger food and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and soft drinks. And I used to sell in the intermission, like, yeah. So that's a one thing. So I kind of trying to create stuff that my parents couldn't even understand why I'm doing it, and all the fruits in our garden, I used to sell it, and I make paper bags, and I got people, there's a couple of boarders living in our house, and this couple of ladies helping my mom doing the housework and the garden and all that. I got them because during the after lunch, they got a break for maybe 2 to 6. They don't do much work.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that they do actually do work. So I got this paper and got them to make paper bags, and I sell them to shops. So I had that entrepreneurial
Yeah.
mindset for a long time, and I really enjoy the relationship you have with solving problems, connecting, doing stuff with other people. So going back to your question, so technology didn't gave me that excitement. Technology, I had to write codes and stuff like that, but didn't allow me to connect with other people.
Yeah.
So I realized the main reason I did technology, because again, my parents want me to be an engineer, right? So
Wow, sounds like someone else.
Yeah, because doing a business sounds like so again, business had a really bad word. Like
Yeah.
in Sri Lanka, they thought every businessman trying to screw someone else.
Yeah.
So so my parents hate. They didn't want anyone to do business. So I mean, my parents want my sister to be a doctor and me to be an engineer. That's a traditional Asian parents thing,
Yeah.
right? So so again, when my uncle sponsored me, that's how I came to Australia as an overseas student. My parents want to make sure that I select an engineering course. So in a way, software engineer they call
Yeah.
it. Like technology is the uh, opportunity for
Yeah.
me to become engineer in a way. So that's the reason I studied technology. After studying technology, um, that's the job kind of got into. But I always had that interest to do business and having that connection with people. So that's a reason I was trying to get into business. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. And I suppose like from there you went into the business field, and then you took this leap and started your own business. So was there a defining moment that caused that, or is it something that you think was going to happen anyway?
Now, yeah. So again, to answer that question, I need to go a step little bit back. When you look at, so I always thinking of doing business. Even when I was a student, I realized there's a lot of overseas students coming in Australia. They are looking for part-time jobs, and they're looking to have some money to pay their living expenses and school fees, etc. So one of my very first business I started here in Australia called a top job cleaning service. All right. Yeah. So what I did, I went to a few real estate agents, and then I asked them anything that I can do, and so they said, "Ah, well, we got tenants moving in and out, right? So
Yeah.
when they move out, there's a someone need to come and do the cleaning." So I met this one small agency in around in Parramatta. They're happy to kind of utilize me to do the cleaning. So I initially start this top job cleaning company because I asked them, "What's your biggest problem?" Right? So they said they don't do a good job. There are have cleaners, but they don't do a good job.
Yeah.
That's why I started top job cleaning company because I want to make sure that we do a top job,
Yeah.
right? And so then what I did, I kind of I wanted to scale this. I mean, with limited knowledge of all that. So what I did, I kind of recruit few other my uni mates and people actually looking for jobs, and then eventually became more like managing it rather than actually I'm doing the cleaning. But the value proposition we gave is making sure that we do clean like to the top level,
Yeah.
right? So so I always had that. Then when I got my first job, I couldn't really manage it, and I thought, well, I'm not delivering the top job
Yeah.
from myself, so I handed over to one of my friends, let him run the business. So I got my first job because, again, that was one of my targets that I need to work in Australia,
Yeah.
so it gave me opportunity. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much. So I had that kind of a what do you call it, itch,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
The burning desire.
Burning desire that I wanted to do kind of a business. So again, even during my work, I always looking at things that I can do. So I was thinking of what can I do. When I marry Michelle, your mom, um, because we gone through the whole wedding process, right? And then we realized, hey, we're becoming experts in weddings, right? So we started a business called eBride. So that was one of my very first e-commerce business,
Yeah.
right? So ebride.com.au we started, mommy and I. and Michelle was doing all the content and everything. I was doing HTML coding, right? So I was doing the coding and setting up, and then we went to local shops and got them as a uh, uh, get them as the vendors that they can
Yeah.
promote the business. And yeah, so the business has been always part of my life. And so yeah, I kind of really enjoy doing that, and then the moment that I realize it's time to kind of get into business, completing my MBA in 2004. It's all about business, learning about creating business. And I realized yeah, one thing, it's around 2004, when the tsunami hits, it's a changing time,
Yeah.
so the changing moment, I guess, 2004 tsunami, uh, you know I don't know, I told you about this. You were only 3 years old, or not even that, or maybe 3 years old. Naomi was only 6. We were supposed to go to Sri Lanka for a holiday. That was, yeah, so holiday. So during Christmas break, so I got applied for my holiday leaves, and now everything is all sorted. And we were supposed to fly to Sri Lanka in around 20 on 2004, 21st or something, December 24. And because mummy, Michelle celebrate Christmas, I actually book a place in down south, Sri Lanka, for just 4 of us to go and stay in a hotel, in a 5-star hotel, because these guys hotels normally celebrate
Yeah.
Christmas.
Right.
Because my parents don't really celebrate, I want to make sure that she's feeling like home Christmas. So this hotel I booked in down south, I knew the guy previously many times, the manager running the hotel. So I asked him, especially, I like this place, that I want on the ground floor, because I didn't want to walk up upstairs and downstairs. This is right in front of the beach,
Yeah.
also right in front of the swimming pool. And some reason, you know our flights got cancelled, right? So we then they reschedule the flights to 2nd of January or something.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, something really weird happened, right? And I was very angry with the airline, and I was just sending messages, and they said their flight got technical issue, they can't come, and then everything is booked till 2nd of January. And I was really, because my dream plan kind of
Yeah.
didn't
Fell
work
apart.
out, fell apart.
Yeah.
And but then the tsunami hits, and I first thing I looked at that place, right? Like, what happened. um Man, it's gone, totally gone. And I still don't know what happened to that guy that I know. It's totally disappeared. And I mean, later on I went and talked to the people in the ground, like, that uh, pretty much there's most people live in that ground, gone. Most people, they couldn't even find the people. um, so and I was really in a shock. I was really in a shock. It's like given me the second chance in life, like for all of us. And I was in tears, actually. I went to my work, and I told my manager, my team leader, it's crazy what happened, like, and then we together, we went to talk to our CEO.
Yeah.
And he said, just tell me what support that you need, and we're happy to help. This is at Vodafone, when I was at Vodafone. And then the end result, we created a charity event, because I wanted to go back to Sri Lanka and help those people on ground. But my parents said, or many people said, don't come, the situation is not very good. We don't need people, we need more support in terms of funding, in terms of clothes, medicine,
Yeah.
etc.
Resources.
Yeah,
Yeah.
resources. So what I did, I went to my CEO said anything you tell me. Then we started this cricket event at Vodafone. Then what we did, we had a cricket tournament. Like we invited some corporates. They had to put $10,000 to put a team in, and then we did a whole event around the cricket, because this cricket is connecting Sri Lanka and Australia, and again. And we wanted to connect all these corporates, so we had about 8 corporate companies like Optus, Telstra, News Corp, and that kind of teams, put together teams, and then the local Willoughby Council was big supporters of the event, and then they all come together. We had amazing event, and we raised well over 200,000 Australian dollars. And so we ran a amazing event, and then we worked with UNICEF Australia, and then I felt like I want to do something back to my community, the country where I came from, and I kind of achieved that with the help of so many amazing people. And with that, then I realized I was a very quiet guy before that. Like, I was like very shy. I was actually worried about many things. I was worried about my language skills. I was worried about always kind of kept myself very quiet. And then this opportunity kind of realized, hey, I can do anything. I can do like anything if I put my mind to it. Like so the whole event proved that. So with that, I realized I keep going. So I was working at that time at a marketing as a marketing manager, and it was as a temporary assignment. And somehow I wanted to go to this dream job, that as a marketing manager, kind of a marketing, national marketing code, relationship manager or something. So I had to work with people in different business as a relationship manager. I didn't get it. Like, I applied for a few times. I didn't get it. And I keep applying for similar kind of roles. I didn't get it. I got kind of pushed back. And so I asked people why. Nobody told me why I'm not getting the marketing job. And they always consider me as a technology guy. They push it back me to technology work. And I keep going back for a temporary roles in marketing. And one day, one of my colleagues, actually one of my managers, he was, I mean, one thing I did, right? I always reach out to people and ask for help. I asked for, can you help me? Can you mentor me? Can you tell me, any areas that I can work on? So I keep asking that from many people. So one of these guys, and he said, Jam, I'll be really honest with you. You're a great guy. You're very capable. You have the, so at that time I finished my MBA as well, and you have the skills, but marketing is probably not the role for you. I asked him, what's that mean? I mean, in a nicest possible way, he said marketing is more like a white man's job, right? Like, you're a more tech guy. You're coming from India, Sri Lanka background, right? So you stay back in that's why you're not getting it. I couldn't even believe that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's the message I got from that time. And I keep thinking, like, maybe I never gonna get that dream job that I want. So why don't I start my own thing? I mean, when you look at the whole people everywhere, I thought, well, if he can do it, I can do it. If that guy can do it, I can do it. Why not starting my own marketing agency, right? Marketing. So that's how the B Dynamic started. So B Dynamic actually started as a marketing agency in 2005, and so I went other side of the business. So I started as a merchandising company, promotional product business. Saying that, very first year, 12 months, I mean, I took a risk as well. So uh, I went to my manager. She was very helpful. I said, "Can you? Uh, uh, I'm not getting where I want to go. Can you please help me to get a redundancy?" Because I knew that otherwise I wouldn't have any income or nothing to
Yeah.
support me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so somehow they realize, yeah, unhappy employee, like, it's not working for them as well. So I managed to get that redundancy, and I kind of left work with nothing, like, or some money for a few months to survive.
A little bit of runway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit of runway, but then I had two little kids, and Michelle was very nervous, and different situation to you, like, and I had a mortgage to pay. We bought a small house, we had mortgage to pay, and I thought, well, this is the only way, right? So I, went back and start trying to create my business. For whole 12 months, I only got $10,000 revenue. Revenue, that's not profit, revenue, right? Because it's a hard one. Like, it's I got to understand the industry that I'm getting, which I didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
So I had to learn about the industry. So I pretty much, traveling from supplier to supplier, sign up them as my suppliers and getting their catalogs, taking back to businesses, and trying to convince them. And it was an adventure, and Misha was very nervous. We are kind of sinking our every penny that we had. And yeah, so then, I had to do, in between, I had to do some part-time work just to survive. Yeah, so that's pretty much the turning point. Was, well, kind of a multiple turning point. One, I realized that I am capable of doing stuff.
Yeah.
Then I also realized I'm kind of hitting a dead wall. I can't go anything further with my the career that I was doing, and where I wanted to go. And I think that's a kind of a turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Definitely. And I think it's like going back. You've clearly had multiple tries at this. With the cleaning and then the e-bride, and I think that's something that you see repeated a lot. Is people. It's never just a one-hit success.
absolutely.
There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. People try, fail, try, fail, try, fail, and then eventually one of them sticks. And so I think that's like a really good progression and a good takeaway, maybe, is that like try and fail.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the reason I'm very proud of what you're doing now, right? Because at the age of 23, I can't even remember what I was doing. Maybe struggling big time. I can 100% sure, like, skipping meals, and just trying to survive, finishing studies. Yeah. Um, it's about, uh, yeah, fail fast. That's the only way, because none of the books, educations, gonna give you the experience that you're gonna get through doing
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
right? So there's nothing like doing, right? Whether you fail or succeed, the success is doing.
Yeah.
And like,
It's the
learning.
experience that
Yeah.
counts. Yeah.
So that's the only way. I mean, that's why I'm so keen on you to do whatever you're doing now, like, your Lendicon business, and just to see whether that's gonna work, or
Yeah.
because this could be the business, or it could be the beginning of your business career, right?
Yeah.
So
And I'm sure in those, like, first, the cleaning one and e-bride, you picked up things along the way, which then in your now business, your Be Dynamic that you started,
yeah.
you implemented those, and you like took prior learnings from the past businesses
Absolutely.
and applied them. And I think that's kind of the progression that you take.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's many lessons over the years. I mean, we could go hours and hours talking about
Yeah.
these lessons. I think it would be useful for people to learn from those lessons, right? Like, I mean, one of the things, for me, thinking positively, it's a very, very important ingredient in success, right? Again, life never designed in a beautiful way, right? Like, not everything's gonna go how you think, and not everything's gonna go, you know, beautiful every day, right? So
Yeah.
there's a roller coaster, up and down. But how can you think positively and really have that self-esteem? You know, you always have that thinking on your mind, I can do it. You know, today's going to be a great day. So uh, one of the secrets I want to reveal you, one of the things I've done for over the years and even now today, I wake up, sounds like an idiot, but I when I get up, I always put myself, say, I'm awesome, I'm so awesome, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, even I know there's going to be a lot of challenges today. I always say to me myself, I'm so awesome, great to be me, right?
Yeah.
Great to be me, because you're, if you don't have that mental, you know, like I believe that you are awesome and you can do anything, you're getting up in a wrong way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you have that positive mindset, and I think that that's a great way to start. And then always look at people, everything, every situation in a positive way. That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, nothing, everything's not gonna go positive way every day, but even something going negatively, or you know, the end result is negative, you should look at that as a learning opportunity, right? Always something that you can get out of. I mean, tsunami is a great example. Everybody, you know, like tsunami, like, you know, some people lost, you know, their relatives, family, and friends. I lost few friends as well, and I took that as an opportunity for me to learn and grow. You know, it's a kind of a turning point for in my life.
Yeah.
So even the pandemic, you know, we had, that was, you know, we kind of intentionally make sure that pandemic gonna create a positive outcome for our business. So if you look at B Dynamic business, we actually grew 100% or even more during that pandemic, you
Yeah.
know, because we had that positive mindset in our thing. And so positivity, I mean, even as you know, positive is one of our values in my organization in Be
Yeah.
Dynamic, right? So it's a very, very important ingredient. And if you look at, if you talk to many successful people, um, you know, they are very positive people, right?
Yeah.
They bring the positives. And again, your, who you associate with, right? If you associate with positive people, you become a positive person as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you know that, right? So um, and I mean, one advice for a young man like you know, you are who you associate with, right?
Yeah.
Your environment. So I mean, I've done so many things to create that positive around you. I mean, sometimes you probably don't even realize. I mean, mm, I took you from Central Coast to Sydney and put you into private schools and stuff like that. Not that I could afford that those times, but I realized I need to create that right environment, positive environment for you to become positive. So it's important for anyone to be positive, even if they are in a they're struggling in their life, they're going through a lot of difficulties. Always think, you know, as long as you can breathe, you know, you got something that you can do, to do,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can go on about my story, going through many years, skipping meals and all that stuff. We can talk about that later. But every time, even while I was in tears, struggling, I was crying. I remember many times, some part-time job I've done, I had to clean toilets. They're not just normal toilets, pretty bad toilets. And I had to slept on the road for nearly 2 years, every Fridays to Sunday, while I was traveling from Newcastle to Sydney to do part-time work. And so cold, and I was in tears. But then I always look at the sky and look at the stars and thinking, hey, I can be a star, you know.
Yeah.
So I kind of create that positivity inside me, that helped me to, achieve what I achieved today, and continue to do that, And I mean, hopefully I gave that positivity to my family as well. I mean, again, I have a awesome family and everyone. I mean, thank you to Michelle as well, because again, when you're so that's all. It's not like just happen. We intentionally kind of created,
Yeah.
everything, so environment, right environment, putting yourself, everyone into the right environment, creating that positivity, I think is a very important ingredient in any success, yeah.
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 And I think going back to like the hardships of it, I think that's another very important thing. There's like a quote that I really like, and it's like, tough times create strong men, and strong men create easy times. And I think, having to go through and endure those tough times, it molds you and gives you like a greater sense of, you can look back and see what you've had to deal with, and so you have a greater appreciation of the present and appreciation of the things that you've built and the things that you have. And so I think that's another thing. Maybe like that even ties in with gratitude,
Yeah.
and just and I guess that's kind of positivity at the same time, where it's just like, you have to have gratitude for the things that you have now and appreciate where you are and the things that have gotten you there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't be anywhere without so many people behind
Yeah.
you, right? I mean, when you look at my journey, I mean, you're still early, right? You can say I have mom and dad and my sister and my friends, my teachers to support. But over the years, I had so many people to support. Like, my parents, even I didn't believe them at all. Even still I fight with them, every word
Yeah.
that I talk to. My uncle and auntie, without them, I wouldn't have education. So they helped me to come to Australia as an overseas student to study. And there's so many people along the way helped me to get to where I am. Even now, like, the support that I get from my family, I mean, unbelievable. Like, Michelle, we married for 27 years. She never doubted me, for my judgment or anything that I've done, right? So that without that support, you know, you cannot go anywhere. I mean, my biggest kind of advice to you, choosing partners are so important, like, so uh, because entrepreneurs are kind of a weird people, right? Because we see problems, we want to solve those problems. We are get excited when we see problems.
Yeah.
You know, we see opportunities in every problem, right? And sometimes stuff that I do, weird stuff. Like uh, either someone need to understand or someone need to ignore it,
Yeah.
right? So in my case, Michelle always kind of ignoring all the things I do.
I think it's like more than ignore, it's empathize.
Yeah.
She might not understand what you're doing, but she goes along with it. She knows like your judgment.
Yeah. But the thing is, again, also about good communication as well. Even, every time I going through those challenges, whatever, I consider as she's my best friend. So I always talk to her, and I talk to her and tell her, hey, this may, a good example, when we were one stage, we had to sign some papers, and it's a big risk that we had to do. And I told Michelle, this could make or break us, so we may have to sell everything that we have, or the bank will take everything that we have.
Yeah.
And we may probably have to go somewhere and get a place rent, and with our kids. So first thing she said, do you have enough money to pay kids school fees? And I said, okay, we'll keep that money aside, right? And so aside mean like I think Naim is already done. I think you had 2-3 years at school to go. So and then she said, as long as we can do that, and as long as we are together, doesn't really matter. The house is big or we are renting somewhere. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
That assurance is amazing. What I mean, that's a support, right? That's a
Yeah.
genuine support. So if you don't have that, if someone trying to argue with you and say, oh no, don't, like,
Yeah.
you're gone, right? So having that support, but again, you can't say that, hey, you've been lucky to have Michelle or someone. I earned that luck. Yes, she's an amazing lady. I'm fortunate to have her. But again, that communication that I had with, like I'm very open guy. I talk to her all the time, and or not just her, anybody. There's nothing secret in my life. I'm pretty open person. So, but having that communication, building that, telling her, rather than I do it, fail, and then go, hey, we lost
Messed up.
everything.
Yeah.
So it's just like, then we feel like we're doing this together. So it's important to do that. And again, finding partners was very important. I mean, I was fortunate, and it's a luck in a way. So um, and again, yeah, so it's a very important, making sure that you communicate well with your partner. And yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think just like it can be a lonely journey on the way up because
Absolutely.
there's a lot of trials and tribulation,
Yeah,
and being alone and going through that struggle by yourself is, it can make or break people. And so
absolutely.
having someone there that you can bounce ideas off and who, like, has your back regardless,
Yeah,
makes the journey a little bit less
yeah,
hard.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I told you, when you start doing your own thing, which is only 1 week, 1 week ago, like only less than a week, or just week, right?
Yeah.
And very important to have a discipline, because and because you're alone, you're starting alone, you got no one to, I mean, you're lucky you can talk to me, or you got multiple other people that you can ask for support. But when I started my own journey, I had very limited, or actually no people that I could go to, like no mentors. And it's all and Michelle didn't have much about business, but I still try to tell her what I've done for the day, and kind of because I knew she see everything positive, right? So she always encouraged me, even if I got screwed up with something, and she said, oh, that's okay, you can do it next time. That's the
Yeah.
kind of a support I had. I knew even with my tears, there's someone there to hug me.
Yeah.
So um and so it's important to kind of self motivated. So this is why you need to have very positive environment, positive space, right? Like encourage yourself, keep having some discipline, and having a structure. So uh, before you get up, you need to think of what you're gonna do that for the day. You gotta
Yeah.
visualize the day. You gotta see how do you ending the day, before you start. So uh, that's why you got to do that. Otherwise, if you just wake up and go reactively trying to plan the day as you go, um, you're gonna go all over the place. You're not gonna achieve what you want to achieve. So it's a discipline thing. And along the way you find partners in your business. And some partners work well with you, some partners you will use you, and some partners will screw you. And all that thing, you got to look at in a positive way,
Yeah.
right? So it's nothing is negative, right? Like, sometimes, expensive lessons.
Yeah.
And so it's a journey, man.
Yeah.
It's a journey,
Yeah,
right?
I have a friend who has a saying. I don't. It's probably not his, but you either win or you learn.
Yeah,
And I really like
absolutely.
that because just like you can either look at the downside and go, I failed, or you can take it from a different lens and just say, okay, yeah, I didn't win, but I learned something from that, and I'll go into the next mission, the next journey,
Yeah.
and apply that.
Yeah. So I mean, if you the whole purpose of this discussion, we are kind of looking for ingredient for success, right? And if you talking about my journey, if you're looking at key success ingredients, I guess the first one, as I said, being positive.
Yeah.
Positivity. It's a very important thing, and then positivity come with a lot of other things, environment, who you associate with, etc. And then other thing, you second one, I would say, uh, always trying to solve problems, right? So you probably think this is a great idea. This is going to be a $1 billion idea, and then you get excited. I mean, entrepreneurs like us, one of the biggest challenge we have, we got a lot of ideas, too many ideas. Which you want to work here, work there. There's something else that you see opportunity, but it's always important to understand, what problems that we are solving. So it's important to understand, talking to other people, understanding, are we really solving that problem?
Yeah.
So it's having that innovative mindset, like, sometimes they have a problem, they don't know the answer, or like they answer the way that they look at, probably not the answer. You can always come up with something, I mean, uh, the big saying, like Henry Ford, like, he was saying, if you ask people, what they want, they would say, they want faster horse,
Yeah.
right? Instead of that, he went and designed the car, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to understand, okay, they want to go fast, right? That's their problem. So they didn't tell you to design a car, right? So it's up to you to come up with. So innovative mindset, it's very, very important. Always looking at what's going on around the trend, and keep looking at that kind of a solution. I mean, if you look at successful people, they're always one step ahead, one step ahead of the crowd, like, what other people. And then that also allow you to differentiate yourself from everyone else, because what you don't want to do, because someone else start a something, and you want to do something same, to compete again. That's a wrong way of doing business, right?
Someone starts a podcast and someone else starts a podcast, but
Yeah, it could be, but again, like, the whole, you know what I mean? I mean, we're doing this for fun, right?
Yeah,
I mean, if we can leave something out of this thing, that's fantastic,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I enjoy telling my story to you, and hopefully you learn something from me, and hopefully I learn from something you. And if someone else gets something out of it,
Perfect.
that's
Yeah,
fantastic, right?
yeah,
You know what I mean? But the thing is, you shouldn't be doing because someone is successful doing something, and we should be doing the same
yeah.
thing.
You shouldn't be jumping on the bandwagon.
No, yeah, yeah, and if you think that's a great idea, but if you can do it differently, that's important. Like, because there's multiple ways you can do it, and you can do it differently. So it's always my advice: don't try to be better, always trying to be different,
Yeah.
right? So it's a two different thing. If you're trying to be better, what you're doing is always you're chasing someone. You're always trying to be better than somebody else. It's a competition. You're playing in the field of a lot of other competitors.
Yeah.
But if you're different, everybody have to follow you. You're the category leader. You're building your own category.
Yeah.
So it's very important that you do something different. And only way that you're doing that by being creative and innovative. So that's a kind of a ingredient I see. It's important, and then the third ingredient I would say, always exceed someone's expectation, right? So when you're dealing with people, it's very important that we always set expectation from each other. So I wanna, whatever the expectation I set you, I wanna do little bit better than. So I mean, I tell you from the day one, like, what I did, like, when we have a meeting, it's not a big thing, it's a little things, right? What matters. When we have a meeting, we talk through and all that discussion. As soon as I come back to my office or wherever I can, I write it down what we discuss. I send that email saying this is what we discussed. Whether it's a customer, supplier, doesn't really matter, right? And I send that information back to the person and say, this is what we discussed. That kind of a little thing, just showing someone like you're really you actually use that time frame. It's not just a wasted having
Yeah.
a chat. It's actually you took it serious, sending an email back. And when you're delivering something like someone will expect, I'll do it by tomorrow, close of business. But if you can do it today, you do it, right? You try to manage your prioritize your things, and do that. That will people one of the biggest opportunities that I see in this country. People are a little bit, when I say this country, because I pretty much spend all my working life in this country. People are like not very driven, like trying to provide that, okay, yeah, we'll do it later, because I promise him I'm going to do it close of business tomorrow. I'll do it just before that. Not trying to do like something excite the other person, right? So where I find delivering that excellence, delivering that, being, exceeding expectation,
Yeah.
is a very important ingredient in success. And if you look at everybody successful people, they're always trying to do something surprise you, something a little bit bigger, better than what you expected. So I mean, these three ingredients that I was talking about, this is what we applied in our organization: positive, innovative, and excellence.
Yeah.
So in our Be Dynamic business, these are our core values. So it's not any surprise to you, I guess. I mean, these are the core values that I see as the success ingredient for me, and I'm sure there's so many other ingredients. And I mean, I still believe there's so many other ingredients, like relationships. And as you know, I'm a big believer in relationships, and I always do anything to maintain and improve my relationship. And yeah, so uh, but again, you can have a good relationship if you have positivity, innovative, and excellence in you, because people like to hang out with other positive people,
Yeah.
right? Nobody wants to hang out with someone nagging, right?
Yeah.
And then you wanna, you like to hear, like, new things, and people are learning. I mean, again, innovation is not just about coming up with new idea, all about also learning, continuous learning as well.
Mhm.
And then people deliver what they promise,
Yeah.
and or exceed their promise. So relationship build on those kind of ingredients,
Yeah.
right?
And I think that last one is like goes back to reputation.
Yeah,
Like you build a really strong reputation. And like we read that book, Diary of a CEO, he talks about the 5 buckets. And like one of them is what people think of you. So essentially reputation. And so by going above and beyond and exceeding expectation, you fill that bucket, you improve your reputation, which improves your relationships as well. If someone knows it has to choose between you and another person, and they know that you always deliver, you have a really good reputation, then you're going to be picked every day of the week, right?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I mean, yeah, it's a journey. Life is a journey. Business, doing business is a journey. It's what's important. Continue to be positive, and continue to keep doing the right thing, and keep doing stuff that make you excited,
Yeah,
right? And again, always think you're doing this, yes, you're doing it for you, but then again, you want to do this for others, right? So
yeah,
you got to be mindful, your environment, your communities, like your team that you're working with every day, and making sure you look after them. And most importantly, like, your family. And so you want to make sure that your family understand. End of the day, everyone leaves you. You end up, you can't, your family can't leave you. You still have yours. I mean, they can, but but they are there for you,
yeah,
right? So um, so what matters to you, what's important to you, it's that's why I believe I'm very successful in my own right, because I have amazing family to support me, and I got an amazing team to work with me wherever we go. Destination is not really important. What matters is the journey, what we are going through. In that regards, not how much money in the bank, how value of my business. I value my relationship and my family. It's to the level as like very very successful person, right?
Yeah.
In my own rights.
Yeah, yeah.
Agree or
Yeah, I think absolutely I agree. I suppose that's kind of what I'm hoping for as well. Like, not just a business success, because at the end of the day, you can't take your business or your money with you.
absolutely.
It's the people that you've, I think also, rather than just your relationships, the people you've impacted and influenced along the way.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
So like, while your business might not live on, the influence you've had on me and other people, that will keep going forward. And I think if you can, at least that's what I'm striving for, is for success for me is being able to leave my mark and, leave this place better than it was
Absolutely,
before I
well
came
done,
to
well
it.
done. That's good way of to think. And I mean, if someone interested in reading a book, Die with Zero,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very good book. They realize, none of us gonna take anything with us. So how we can create that the name, the mark, in this world. And if you wanna, if you wanna look after, if you wanna do something with your children, don't wait till you die. Do it now, and when you die, you know you
The
die zero.
opportunities
Yeah,
passed. Yeah.
opportunity far pass. When they need something, give them when they need,
Yeah.
not when you die. So it's a good book to read. And yeah, so I mean, we both read.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I mean, this is an unplanned session.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think we done pretty okay.
Yeah, for the first episode, unscripted, it's been pretty good, and I think there's been a lot of key takeaways from there. Your three things that you talked about, the success factors being positivity, innovation, and I suppose reputation
Excellence,
or
yeah.
excellence. I think they're probably the three keys, and I'd say for me, one of the strong ones which I've kind of had a realization on that you touched on was, you're the average of the people that you hang around.
Absolutely.
And I think that's probably one of my key things that I'm thinking about at the moment. And so yeah, with that, thanks for joining. And we'll be available on all major streaming services. So please do us and yourself a favor and give us a follow. And until next time, see you then.
Thank you.